Season opener for the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup is in Lake Placid, New York on Mount Van Hovenberg. They've been racing here since the beginning of the last century, and twice it's been the venue for the Winter Olympic Games. Welcome back, everybody. Martin Haven alongside me, John Morgan, getting ready for the second and deciding heat in his first weekend's action of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup season. They return next week to the same track for heat number 2, and some surprises in our top 3, John.
Well, you know, women's bobsledding, first event of the year. You know, this Kim Kalicki, I mean, she only had 4 trips down the track. She was nervous about curve 12. And, you know, we thought she might be in the back of the field. Well, she emerges as the top German of the 3, including beating out her gold medal, Mariana Jamaica. So that's a surprise in itself. Then the next up, Christina De Bruyne. Well, she's done pretty well. She's got a rookie brakeman on the back in Richardson, and she flew down the track. She had the best lines in the bottom part of the track, and done well on this track last year. Broke through with medals. Broke through with a World Championship medal last year. Canadians are on to somebody, and well, the next story. Well, here's a coming American. She used to be a Canadian, and got a very experienced brakeman, and Lauren Gribbs, who's won the silver medals and a lot of golds with Alana Myers. And Kaylee just shows us she can change countries, change sleds, and she just does what she's been doing for a decade, which is be the leader.
Canadian becomes American. We're going to make that mistake a few times. A little slip there. Kaylee Humphries, yes, she's become an American slider this year. She leads former teammate Christine De Bruyne, and Kim Kalicki in her first ever World Cup start, her first time ever on this track in anything, leads her more experienced teammates. Schneider, who's in 4th, has had 2 bronze medals in the last 2 years here. Mariana Jamaica, the World, Olympic and World Cup champion. Viesturs Segova, narrowly the better of the 2 Russians who completed the course, because after the first heat, Polina Nazaruk crashed in the very first run of the season and does not get a second run. Lauren Gibbs there warming up, Christine De Bruyne as well. Air temperature, ice temperature hovering around -7 degrees, so a little bit less snow in the air. There's Chris Woolley helping out with the Swiss crew this season. And Mariana Jamaica, well, she had never won a race before last year, won the first of the season in Sigulda. That was the first of 4 in 8 outings in the World Cup. Then she went on to win the World Championship. She's got it all now. She's the Olympic champion, the World champion, and the World Cup champion in just over a season's worth of racing.
She's in 5th place into the first heat, though.
There you go.
But it's close.
Wow, so we go in reverse order of our first round. So the battle to start with is Mingming Wei against her teammate King Ying of China. Then Katy Bile, and then the all-Russian battle, Ludwig Chernik trying to chase down Viesturs Segova, her nominal number 1 in the team. Martina Fontenev, 7th place, just 200ths ahead of the better of the Russians. And then we get into the battle for the podium, and that will be Jamaica, Schneider, Kalicki, De Bruyne, and Humphries.
Beautiful shots of the Mount Van Hovenberg Sliding Sports Complex. They've been sliding out here since Christmas Day 1930, which was even before my time, Martin.
But it's a family pastime. Your dad was a member of the early bobsleigh clubs, and so the family has been intimately associated with
Never
this
thought
track.
I'd see Chinese competing at the in bobsledding.
Well, how
Unbelievable.
many different nations came through your parents' restaurant over the years? Well, let's see. Mingming Wei gets the second heat underway. Brakewoman Ye Huang behind her, galloping along, cantering perhaps. Odd running gait.
574, 575, a little rough transition on the take onto that sweeping first curve. You know, this is about learning. You know, Chinese athletes have only been driving for a couple years. They have been on an accelerated schedule. We had 1 crash in the first run, right here. The Russian team crashed there, but nice transition. The one thing about the Chinese that they listen when you watch them with Pierre Luders and Andre Lange, those famous gold medalists. These Chinese are very intent on improving their abilities. And of course, listening to those guys who have got 5 gold medals between them, it's probably smart.
Well, I think when you're starting, particularly, if you listen to your coach and he keeps you from parking on your helmet, you tend to listen to him a lot more, don't you? So 129.7, decent speed at the bottom. We'll see 131s.
57.69, 3,100 slower. There's Pierre Lūders. Hello, Pierre.
That's a big smile.
Yeah.
155.07. 2 Chinese women's sleds in this field, but there are 3 Chinese girls here driving. One of them is forerunning this weekend as well.
No, that's a guy. That's the fourth guy.
One of the guys here.
It's the
as
guy.
well?
There's 4 guys here, and there might be 3 women here.
Yeah.
There's 40 Chinese people here with coaches and everything, and again, they're being coached by Andre Lang and Pierre Lūders. Between them, from '98, 2002, 2006, and 10, there was 10 gold medals. Those guys won 5 of the 10 gold medals, and they're coaching the Chinese. That tells you there's a lot of experience.
Ming Wei there with great woman, Jia Hang. Next up is Qing Ying and Chunyong Lu.
I correct myself. There was 8 gold medals. They won 5 of the 8 gold medals. That's pretty dominating fashion between 2 guys.
Florian Linder at the back on the right of your shot as well. He's the team manager. He connects all the dots and makes sure that everybody gets to the right place at the right time.
Hans and Florian in the back. Those are the 2 sled mechanics, father and son, who are from Switzerland. So that's what the Chinese have done. They've gone out and hired the best, most experienced people they can to coach their athletes and bring them into the sliding sports. Maybe hosting the Olympics in a couple years might have something to do with that.
Well, if you're going to learn, hire well.
Yeah,
5:72 start for these ladies. They were 300s quicker than their teammates.
Money has been no object for this Chinese program.
Now she's starting to drive away. The gap was 600s as they loaded into the sled, now out to 2 tenths.
Nice. Pretty quiet, ride down the track here.
She shoot the chicane. Now she gets a good exit. Not too bad into the heart, turn 17. 3100s up, this is a good run. She's looking to move up the leaderboard with this run. 129.1 at the bottom, a fraction slower than her teammate, but 57.39.
She's only 700 slower than her first run, 57.32, 57.39. Consistent.
Yep.
But, they're very safe lines down the track.
Yep.
Eventually they'll start to not steer the sled, which is what Andre Lange will tell them.
Yeah, that takes confidence and experience, and that all comes with ice time.
That's normal. Well, she stays on that wall. That's not. That was a mistake. You're supposed to bounce off there. Watch the transition on the back of the sled here. 7 to 8.
A little hard on to turn 8, but not too bad. So, Qing Ying is our race leader from Ming Hui. Next up, Katy Bile of Austria with her rookie brake woman, Selina Leutner.
She's 18, the youngest athlete in the field. And I'm a little disappointed in this sled here. She's got some flu. She didn't take her tour runs yesterday. So maybe that's something why she's in this position. She finished 4th 3 times last year, including at the World Championships.
Skiddy, she's in trouble there, giving away a lot of time.
She shouldn't be back here after that performance she had in Whistler last year, finishing 4th. Safe line, 7-8, where the Russians didn't make it. 3 tenths back of the Chinese sleds. That's, wow. I think she's suffered from the flu, because should be a better performance than this.
Brake woman's only had 1 bobsled race before here, and this was the NAC race here
late.
2 weeks ago.
Late. Well, this is not the same athlete we saw last year.
Just not having her driving. Having that injured right finger as well, I'm sure that can't be helping.
She got beat by both Chinese sleds, which is shocking.
57.94, 6 tenths slower than her first run. She won't be happy with that.
I mean, she even had a slower start time, so she's definitely suffering from the flu, because this is not the athlete we saw last year. Look at her body language.
Her brake woman's favorite quote: "The dictionary is the only place where success comes before work." Who's that? Vince Lombardi. That's what you get for an American football brake woman.
Well, if Vince Lombardi was at the bottom, he'd be yelling at her for what she just came down the track. I mean, there was mistakes all over the place. And again, we saw her last year. She had a breakout year.
Yeah, disappointing there for Katy Bile.
You can see it. Look at that. Yeah. Look at the look on her face. She's usually got a big smile no matter what.
She has to come back next week and do it all again on the same track. So that learning will start again on Tuesday. Lubov Chernik next up, the first of our 2 Russian sleds. And they are 9th and 8th after the first heat. and a yawning chasm of 6 whole hundredths of a second between her and teammate Nadezhda Sergeyeva, who follows her. Lubov starting her second World Cup season.
Brakeman's been around. She was in Sochi, 2014 games.
Yep. Yulia Shvoksheva, the most experienced brakewoman in the Russian program at the moment.
63, 60, so this should be a 64, 65, like everybody else. 76, wow. Something wrong there. No way you should be 10 hundredths off your start time in the first run. That's technique, and I didn't see it, what happened visually. Maybe they'll show us in the replay, but you shouldn't be 10 hundredths off your start time in the first run.
So in the green over our current leader, Ying of China, they had 11 hundredths in hand. That gap has shrunk to all but nothing.
Nice safe lines here. You know, Martin, the sun came out a little bit. Temperatures raised up. I would thought we'd start seeing some faster times. We're not.
Sled is slower than the Chinese sled. The advantage is gone. She's in the red. She's not coming back from this unless she has a mercurial chicane. That's good.
Only 300s. If she has decent speed, she has a chance.
128.8, a kilometer down
Second
on the
best
Chinese
speed.
sled.
Yeah, she's
not going to make it. Chinese are going to lead after this sled.
No! This is the only place where you can find time on the bottom.
My work as a predictor is still going as strongly as ever.
Well, that other time, that clock, usually we see that speed clock up there at the exit of chicane, where it gives us a chance to predict, but we don't see it until it comes up that straightaway.
Yeah.
But she did have good speed. It popped up here.
129.3, 129.7 away.
100th. You know what the 100th is? What is it, the length of what? They come down 2 miles in distance, and the 100th? What happened there at the start? I don't know. Didn't run far enough or something.
Maybe they just didn't get the hit together.
Together, yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have new people. Look at these are good lines. Drifts to the right. She should want to get over on the left side, but it's better than most. That's how that line is why she won by 100th of a second.
So Lubov-Chernik leads with 8 to go. Is it enough to catch her teammate Nadezhda Sergeyeva? Sergeyeva's got the rookie brakewoman Elena Mamedova behind her.
63 starts, so they should be close to that. 66, 300 slower.
Mamedova has made 1 World Cup start. That was in the Pyeongchang 2017 race.
Sergeyeva started off the season last year winning a silver medal in Sigulda.
Yep.
You know, and she's competent, 6th at the World Championships.
2 cents up, she's pulling away. Here we go. This is more like what we were expecting to see from her in the first heat.
She was real rough on top of the track in the first run. 2 tenths up. The good exit of Shady, slingshot.
Speed's good, but it's not the speed the Chinese had.
A little late into 12, which is exciting.
It's going to cost her most of her lead. Oh no, she holds on, 1900s.
And 129 speed. She's got 128 too, so that's going to come back to her a little bit. 16. She's going to lose a few more hundredths, but she'll be the leader. 10 hundredths, 12 hundredths.
Only the 4th fastest sled, but 57.43. That's the second quickest run, 57.39.
She should be farther ahead of her teammate than that, though.
Ying still has the faster run down the track with a 57.39.
She went early. She got the fresh ice, the Zamboni ice.
Again, that was the Russian Federation athletes.
But Sergeyeva, she should be doing better than that.
She likes driver's tracks, so she should like this one.
Morgan, that's late. And watch the back end of the sled here. Transition, exit, take onto the curve.
Hard take
here,
on,
it got away from her there. Remember, she had that lead of 20-something down to 19. That was where it started to fall away from her.
Nadezhda Sergeyeva leads from Lubov-Chernik. She doubles the gap between the 2 Russian sleds to 1200ths. 7 sleds to go. Martina Fontaneva of Switzerland on the line, trying to stay ahead of our current leader, Nadezhda Sergeyeva of Russia. Fontaneva with young brakewoman Nadia Pasternak. Pasternak in only her 3rd World Cup start. Martin Haven and John Morgan with a few more than that under our belt, watching with you trackside here in Lake Placid.
As I said in the first heat, she just wasn't happy with her runs in training. She was here 2 weeks ago at the North America Cup, the lesser tour, and she was very comfortable, had great rhythm, felt great. Last night she was just shaking her head saying, I just don't know what's wrong, I just don't feel right. That's probably why she's back in the position she is.
So her first heat advantage over Sergeyeva was 200ths, starts the same as Sergeyeva, she's still 200ths in front. Oh, and clatters the wall in a big skid.
Not comfortable there.
It was a very untidy run from Martina Fontaneva in the first heat. It looks like she has not worked that out.
Just doesn't have her confidence. She's usually in the 9th, 10th spot.
She had a pretty decent confidence-building season last year. She needs to get rid of this weekend and come back next weekend with a little bit more feel for the
Only
track.
100th. She has good speed here. She could become the leader.
He's 129.3 or 4. Where are we?
129 flat.
129.0.
She's got the lead though.
Front.
So she picked up time on the bottom.
Yeah, just going to stay in front of Sergeva.
57.34, 2100 slower than her first run. Sun's out on the track. Surprised it's not faster.
It's the fastest run of the second heat. So she improves on the time set by
7th.
Qingying of
That's
China.
about normal for her. You know,
Yeah.
7th, 8th, 9th.
It's not a huge field this weekend, but it is jammed with talent at the top end.
Look at the runner tips here. Now, hit to the right, that's the norm, but she hits twice and she's in a skid. So that cost her a lot of time right there. And she's experienced enough not to make that type of mistake. But again, like she told me last night, she's just not comfortable. She's not feeling it.
Only one of the remaining 6 sleds hasn't got World and Olympic Championship medals around the driver's neck, and that is the first one up, which is USA's Brittany Reinbold. So Brittany Reinbold with Sylvia Hoffman behind her. Reinbold, the pilot instructor, 33. Hoffman, 30 years old, in only her 3rd World Cup start.
Hey, Hoffman's part of that next Olympic hopeful drive that the U.S. Olympic Committee came out. And this is what it produced for the bobsled team. Basketball player from LSU.
She had 2 races last year with Alana Myers-Taylor. One resulted in a crash in Sigulda. The other one, they were in the medals. That was San Moritz.
Well, you know, Brittany's the pilot here. And she's a pilot in her private life. I feel safe going down with her. 300's back. That's relative to the start. Didn't have a very good first run, I thought. She, with her experience, these are good lines. She's down to 100. She was rewarded. That's excellent speed. That's the best speed we've seen so far in this run.
And this is what she needed, is a tidier second heat.
Runner tips. See the runner tips coming right at us here. Ooh, hard. Second hard hit. 300s.
Ooh, and squared up a bit.
She might lose some of that back.
He's 139 at the bottom.
Dead heat. It's too close to
Good.
call, Martin. Too close to call.
Surely she's got to use some home track knowledge to
100th.
creep in front. She does, and 57.42 run just slips 100th behind Martina Fontaneva.
That mistake in chicane.
Yeah.
She hit twice.
And then it sent her sideways.
Yeah,
and
she had,
was
on her home track, she had 1500s in the bank before she got to that Benham's Bend, curve 14, and then it went away. But you wouldn't know it. You think she's won the gold medal every time she comes out. She's pretty happy disposition. Start, well, doesn't always get the great starts.
And that was a 10th off their first as well.
Yeah.
573,
I don't
not
understand that.
563.
It's sticky up there or something. We're not seeing consistency. Here's the mistake. Bang. Right now, look at the runner tip. She's trying to steer away. No, but she's in the back end skid.
Puts the nose down into the turn in 17, and the tail comes up, so you have to fight that back up the hill. 5 to go. We've got 2 Olympic champions, world champion medalists. Here's the first of them, Mariama Yamanka, our World Cup champion, our world champion, our Olympic champion.
In 5th place out of the first run, and this former hammer thrower, I'm sure there was nobody more disappointed than her.
Last year's worst race for her, the only time off the podium, was a 4th place finish here in Lake Placid in February.
Look at that nice tap. Sled comes straight. 4,300ths lead. Now this should get out to 50 if she's got the good lines here in this Devil's Highway section of the track. 45, only got out to 45, so didn't use that advantage she had.
It's not about beating Martina Fontaneva, it's about trying to get back up into the medals.
Throw a good heat down, get into the leader's box.
There's a lot of talent in front of her, including 2 more German sleds.
There's pretty good speed here in this. 48, she's accelerating away now. 130.
Yeah, it's a kilometre down in speed though, 131 we've seen. So there's Nadia Pasternak on the left, Martina Fontaneva on the right, as they applaud Mariama Yamanka taking the lead.
As you see those speeds, 130, 81.6 miles an hour. It just, you know, You just take it for granted.
Well,
80 miles an hour with your rear end a couple inches off the ice with no shock system.
We talk about it, but when you're stood next to the track and these
You
things
see it come
thunder
by.
by, whoa, boy.
Yeah, watch the back end transition here. You know, she takes, there's the exit, and then there's the take on of the curve. Saw a little bit of helmets left to right,
Rocking and
transition.
rolling there.
But of course, if you're not steering, you're going to see those rough transitions. And it's not the person that steers the most that wins. It's the person who steers the least.
Steering onto the turn that gets the line. So 4 to go. Stephanie Schneider of Germany next up. Bronze medalist in this race last February and in last year, the previous season. And she's been 3 times a winner on this track with Sandra Kyriasis.
As a brakeman,
As a break.
you know, again, she's one of the most talented drivers. Pushing the sled, and you know, she's another one of those hammer throwers that, just like her teammate Mariana Yamanka, came out of that track and field part for the German bobsled program. But she just had too many crashes in her career. She's had a lot of injuries that prevented her from being one of the best.
Last German win here, by the way, 2010-11 season, was Kyriasis. Since then, it's been all Canada and USA.
Now, this is a race within a race amongst the Germans, because they're racing for spots in the World Championship field.
And
That's pretty smooth there.
And she's currently beating the only girl who's got a guaranteed place, Mariana Yamanka.
Oh, nice 600s, speeds, excellent.
131, are we going to see from the FES sled? How close will she get?
10 she's pulling away.
This is very good.
This is going to put her in a medal position.
Wow.
Potential right there, 56.96. Wow. Only 1,300 slower. And he speeds, the coach looking on, he's liking that.
Started exactly the same, 5:62 in both heats, so there's not much wrong when they're on the start line.
She's got the veteran brakeman.
Lisette Turner, Granny Bobsleigh, self-appointed.
Schneider's going to be happy with her run. I don't know about her result, but this was 2 very good runs for her, and she's got a little love-hate relationship with this track.
Well, she was 200s up on the world champion after the first heat. She added another 1200s to that in heat 2. So she beat Yamanka properly in that second run. So there is Stephanie Schneider, our leader, with 3 sleds to go here in Lake Placid. Well, what a story, John. Kim Kalicki, third sled on the ice. A rookie, Vanessa Mark, her curly-haired brake woman, has never started a World Cup race either. Kalicki started driving at the beginning of last season.
Martin, I said in the first heat, she got out of the sled yesterday, looked at me, she says, "You didn't know me, doesn't know me," and all of a sudden she talked to me about, "I can't get through curve 12. I just don't know. I know what I have to do. I can't get through curve 12. She got through it the first heat, not perfectly, but for her to be in 3rd place is shocking. In her first race, she's only 4 practice trips on this track ever earlier in the week, and she had 2 trips from start 3, and then 4 from the top.
She was only 100th ahead of Schneider. She is holding level with the bronze medalist from the last 2 races here. This is a rookie who has only been driving 1 season. Still level.
What are we watching here?
We are watching somebody
Whoa!
writing their name very firmly.
That's just
on
not
a
steering
ticket.
there. 500's back, though.
Hang on a minute, who's the veteran here? That was a great run through the chicane. Now we should see the speed coming back up towards her.
700s. Now she's probably
30.2, very close in terms of speed. Where's she going to be? Ahead of Yamanka in second. Doc's ahead.
Wow.
She's ahead of Yamanka.
But see, this is a race within a race. These girls are trying to qualify for spots on the World Championships on their home track in Altenburg.
Renee
But
speaks
still,
with
Kalicki,
a problem on his hands.
this is a medal for her no matter what. What a
Oh no,
performance.
2 to go. She's only second. Germany 1, 2, 3, but there are 2 sleds to go.
You saw her curve 12 though.
Yeah.
She's going to have a little nightmare about curve 12.
These 2 girls are full of fun in the headshots, and they are loving this race.
7-8. This was the Devil's Highway, no problem. But her issue is there. Look how high she gets, and hopefully she'll figure that out in 6 more training runs this week in the race, and she'll get out of here with Hey, I can get through that curve 12.
There's the face of Kim Kalicki, who lies second to Stephanie Schneider. Schneider guaranteed a medal, but of what colour? She's had 2 bronzes in the last 2 years. 2 sleds to go here in Lake Placid. First up, Christine de Bruyne, who took silver last year, in the silver medal position now behind a US sled.
With a rookie brakeman in her first season, Richardson, 68, 73, 500 slower. Something definitely sticky up there in that track, so everybody should be the same or a couple hundred slower. We've seen a lot of teams 1000s or 500 slower, but now it's about the eyes and the hands. She made a mistake there on the tap on the entrance to 4.
First World Cup race for the brake woman, but she raced here in the North America's Cup race, won with Corrie Hole. Remember her from the World Championships last year. 1300s back, 4th place only, dropping out of the medals, Christine de Bruyne.
She had great speed on the bottom part of the track in the first run. She's going to need it here. Runner tips.
Close.
Runner 2, little skid, back to 12. She's trying to bring it back. Going to need 131, 132 kilometers to get it back. There's 130 per one. She might drop 2 places.
She's going to drop out of the medals behind all 3 Germans.
She
behind
does.
all 3 Germans.
Wow. Look at that. So there's
2 German medals. The last German clean sweep.
Kalicki wins the medal.
Kalicki gets a medal. Last German sweep of the medals here, 2003.
Come on.
Susie Erdmann beat Sandra Prokop and Kathleen Martini.
3 legends.
And the legendary brakewomen, Christina Barder, Janina Tischer, and Berit Viaka in their early days.
Well, her mistake really was up entrance to curve 3 to 4.
Look at that, though.
Oof, a little late there. Here, now watch the sled drift to her left. It gets a little sideways right there, look. And that means she's got to get over there and take the pressure point, and that's going to be a skid. Well, I'm sure.
Medal slips out of her fingers, the silver medalist.
Look at that, she's 100th out of 3rd,
Yep.
200th out of 2nd.
Now here's a woman who hasn't won here since 2 years ago, but then it was for Canada. All of her wins here, including the World Championships in 2012, all of her previous 118 World Cup starts as a brakewoman in team competitions and as a driver have been in the red and white of Canada. Now she's an American.
Well, the brakeman, the Brown University athlete who went there to run track and field, became a volleyball star. She paired up with Alana Myers for a silver medal at the last Olympics. And, Kaylee Humphries, she's changed countries, she's changed sleds, and this is what she's done either side of the border.
Lauren Gibbs has won World Cup races with Jamie Grubel-Poser and Alana Myers-Taylor. Will this be the 3rd different driver? Kaylee Humphries in the green by 2:10. She's building the lead.
It's her race to lose at the moment.
How many trips has she ever done down this track in a BMW sled? 4, 5. Now this is trip number 6.
I asked her if she was comfortable for the sled. She said, I guess.
Well, it's like when you drive a different rental. Where are the wipers? Which is the indicator stalk?
Yeah, but when you've got this much experience, 2 gold medals, 1 bronze in the last 3 Olympics.
Driving away to victory. Alana Myers-Taylor won last year. Kaylee
3:10,
Humphries,
she's blowing them away here.
Is going to win for the USA on her debut for the team. What a run, 56.78, only 800 slower than her first heat. Kaylee Humphries, her first win for Team USA.
Some things don't change.
Yes, let's go!
Fastest starts in both heats with Kaylee Humphries and Lauren Gibbs, and fastest trip down the mountain in both heats. The only woman in goggles, and the double Olympic champion wins her first ever race for Team USA.
Boy, what's going through her mind? Relief?
Still got it.
Hey, Travis, Mom, Dad, love you guys.
Well,
we've watched her career as a brakeman.
Yeah.
We watched her compete with Helen Upperton in the mid-2005-06. Then she got in the driver's seat, dominated as a start athlete. Surprise gold medal in 2010, won it again in 14. Bronze last year in Pyeongchang, Korea a couple years ago. And now she changes, marries an American guy, comes over here, had a little problem with the Canadian Federation, and she just does what she's been doing for a decade.
Yep.
Win.
She needs to feel the team support, and she's got that here. And why wouldn't you? Lauren Gibbs, their #1 brakewoman, with Kaylee Humphries. Kaylee leading after the first heat. It was not a fluke. She very rarely gives races away, John.
Well, you know, to me, bobsledders are not made drivers. They're born with that driver, eyes, hands, instinct. She's got it. And then you just got to meld yourself into a program that provides you the equipment, the brakeman, you know, the conditioning. And, you know, when you got talent like she's got, all they got to do is give her all the rest what she needs. And she could probably take the worst sled in the field and still win.
Kaylee Humphries victorious in Lake Placid, and in second place Stephanie Schneider, moving up from bronze the last 2 years. Kim Kalicki on her World Cup debut takes a bronze medal ahead of the world champion, Olympic champion Mariama Yamanka. But Christine de Bruin slipping out of the silver medal position down to 5th ahead of Martina Fonteneve. Well, the big story for Kim Kalicki, taking that podium finish, and a great run for the rookie. She may not have corner 12 worked out, but the other 16, she's pretty 17, 18, she's pretty much got them taped. So that worked well for her. So Kaylee Humphries victorious. She was really relaxed, really cheerful when she came in for headshots, had a good chat with her, and she is definitely in very familiar territory. She knows all the tracks, she knows the sport inside out. Most of what you need to know, you learn through experience, not through the colours you're wearing. And Canada's loss is definitely USA's gain. I talked to her earlier, I said, so what did Kaylee do in her holidays? Well, basically in her year off, she saw a lot of her family, a lot of her then boyfriend, who very quickly became her fiance and then her husband, and looked at different ways of training. Well, there's Stephanie Schneider on the left, Lisette Turner on the right-hand side, returning to the fold. Her first World Cup race, Lisette, since January 2018 in Koenigsegg. She had a couple of seasons with surgery and injury, and now she is back and happy. So I'm not sure who the family in the picture are. I know who the family in the frame are. Stephanie Schneider, Lisette Turner, taking the silver medal here, and they are the top German sled. That's Schneider, again, moving up from bronze the last 2 years with Lisa Buchwitz 2 years ago, with Deborah Levy last year. Deborah's here this weekend. She may well be pushing in next weekend's race, although she might have to arm wrestle Lisette Turner for a place on Schneider's sled. But Deborah Levy still part of the crew. The Germans here in strength. They'll be here in strength in the men's competition as well. The two-man race starts at 3 this afternoon. 1500 local time here, that's midday Eastern. And there's Kim Kalicki on the left and Vanessa Mark on the right. Some happy sliders on their World Cup debut in a snowy Lake Placid winter wonderland. And certainly for Kaylee Humphries, the American, claiming victory over Stephanie Schneider and Kim Kalicki, the rookie for Germany. Her first ever World Cup race, she's in the medals. What kind of a season is she going to have? The Battle of the Russians, Nadezhda Sergeva narrowly ahead of Lubov Chernik. Battle of the Chinese, Qing Ying ahead of Ming Huai, just as well in that little inter-Nissan rivalry. In the Battle of the Americans, Kaylee Humphries coming out on top ahead of Brittany Reinbold. Brittany in 7th place, Kaylee Humphries victorious though. The last race on this track was in 2017-18. She beat Alana Myers-Taylor and Lauren Gibbs, with Stephanie Schneider and Lisa Buchwitz in 3rd. This weekend with Lauren Gibbs, she beats Stephanie Schneider and Lisette Turner. Kaylee Humphries, her first race under the Star Spangled Banner, and she is a winner, as she has been so many times before. How many times before? I've lost track. 23rd World Cup win, her first for the USA. 2 World Championships, 2 Olympic Championships, 4 World Cup overall Crystal Globes, at a total of now 65 World Cup medals in 119 starts. So congratulations to Kaylee Humphries, Lauren Gibbs, Stephanie Schneider, Lisette Turner, and especially perhaps Kim Kalicki on the right and Vanessa Mark just to her left. Our top 3 here. Season opener for women's bobsleigh in Lake Placid, and next weekend they come back to do it all again, also in Lake Placid, for race weekend number 2 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. From John Morgan, me, Martin Haven, and the IBSF TV crew trackside in Lake Placid, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later on for the Men's World Cup 2-man race 3 local, 2000 GMT.